Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Jade, and this is How to App on iOS. And today we're taking a look at the new 4 Pockets
Midi Layers. It's an intelligent AUv3 MIDI splitter. Ooh.
But first, we are going to kick off today with a brand new song from an Australian artist who's been on this show, been interviewed before. This is the artist known as Maffy's Garden, and this is Flying Away.
Why you won't see me, you're never gonna leave me. Think you've been flying away, you never leave me, and I never wanna see ya. Think I'll be fine, think I'll be fine, think I'll be fine, think I'll be fine, think I'll be fine. Away to that place where the sun always shines. Think you've been flying away, you never see it and you never will believe it. Think I'll be fine, think I'll be fine, think I'll be fine. Believe me, think I'll be flying away, and then on when the stars align. Think I'll be fine, think I'll be fine, think I'll be fine, think I'll be fine, think I'll be fine away. Almost lost myself, but a very good place to hide. Always things I say still come from the good inside. You lift up bed at night and find the places I know. You lift up bed at night and find the fears you told. Think I'll be fine, think I'll be fine, think I'll be fine, think I'll be fine, think I'll be fine Almost lost myself, but I found a good place to hide. All those things I say still come from the good inside. Not by you, okay, yeah, I think I just breathe the wrong way. Look, go to bed, just do whatever we say. Think I'll be fine, think I'll be fine, think I'll be fine, think I'll be fine, think I'll be fine away.
Brand new Maffy's Garden, and that was Flying Away. What's going on? Give it some applause, of course. Welcome to the show. My name's Jade. This is How to App on iOS. And yeah, it's the start of another brand new week. What a cool song, yeah, Maffy's Garden. Brand new release. Good to see the Maffster getting a new song out. So he's from Queensland. I've done an interview with Maffy in the past. You can check that out in the creator interview playlist, which you can find at the top of the page kind of thing in playlists and all that jazz. I want to say hello to the Wart Warriors for as little as $1. Well, it is $1 a month. You can become a Wart Warrior and you get a whole bunch of custom emojis that appear in the chat. And you get access to the once a month special show that happens here on the channel. Last month, it was the Sunday roast where we roasted your songs. And this month it is the YouTube music community quiz. Is that what it is? The YouTube Music Community Musicians Quiz, whatever it's called. We don't know what it's called yet, but it's going to be a quiz and it's going to be fun. So you can do that also. Let's say hello to everybody who's here. Thanks, everybody, for the wicked weekend. Had a great weekend. Great show yesterday. I really didn't want to sing yesterday. I was so close to cancelling, but thank you all for being here. It was, you know what? When you're not feeling it, you know what you do? You try and incorporate humor into the show, and that will get you through. And then you just sing your best, I guess. The show must go on. That's what it's all about. Thomas Christ, hello to you. Hello, Joan Barry Glenn. Who else? Hello, Audible Video. Hello, Nino Beats. Who else do we say here? David Collette, hello to you. And Gregory Sullivan. And Brad Example. And who else do I see in my magic mirror today? Russ is here. G'day, Russ. What is happening? Oh, yeah, there's a link pinned to the top of the chat that you can go and click, and that'll take you to Matthew's Gardens YouTube channel, and you can go and click on that. Hit him up with subscribe. There's the Wart link. So, yes, if you want to become a Wart warrior, a member of the YouTube channel, and you can't see the join button on iOS on your phone or iPad, you have to click the link that's in the description. See it? There it is. Mobile, m.youtube.com/c/jadestar/join, and that is the way you are able to join using a mobile device. The link is in the description. Who else do I see who's here? Hello, Conspiracy Music, who's been doing radio shows and I think going to bed and just leaving playlists go for hours on hours. Man, you're full on, dude. Hey, Danny Broderick, what's going on to you as well? Let's see. All right, so what are we doing today? We are taking a look. So I've had to quickly change a show around. Right, so Pete normally does YML 2 hours. He does it like at 10 a.m. here. And I finish this show at 7 a.m. here. And I normally finish at 8. And I thought I had time today to go and do my second show today for Songtember. But Pete's changed his fucking time, hasn't he? Which I just realized. So what is happening? I've moved it forward. So as soon as this show ends today, there'll be a 5-minute break, and then I'll be kicking off another second show because I'm going to be working on my second track for Songtember, which is an AI. I'm trying to do an AI generated song where the AI selects my chords and then I put the chords together, and then I put together the artwork using an AI. So it is essentially an AI generated song, and I'm doing a full song. So that'll be happening 5 minutes after the show today. Hopefully I'll finish a little bit earlier. But today we are going to be looking at the brand new 4 Pockets app called Midi Layers. And before we do that, we shall jump over to see if there's any price drops. Hello, Leela. Hope you're doing good. Economy Picking Guitar School. Never heard of it. I guess it's an educational thing, but it's on sale. Maze Riders down from $5.99 to $3.99. What else do we have? We've got some bass, some battle beat drum loops. Bass levelers on sale. Chomplers got dropped down to free. So if you've been wanting to get Chompler, go grab it now. It's a saving of $5. Do it. Do it now. What are you waiting for? Nembrini has a Cali Reverb Modern High Gain that is $10 off. Low 5 vintage Clipper is about half price. What else? We've got a bunch of stuff. Mila 3, Idusen. Change over the page. There's a heap of stuff on sale, but we are looking at today because let's jump in and just get to it. We're looking at Midi Layers by 4 Pockets, and it's a very interesting app. It came out of the blue. I wasn't expecting this one, but very handy for so many different reasons. And I know it is in Paul's videos, he mentioned this is for live performance. And in my head, I had live performance of like on stage and stuff. But no, absolutely, live performance anywhere. So, I do live performances here on YouTube. So this would be perfect. You know who this would be perfect for? For Cy Effen, who I believe is on holidays at the moment. But because he has a whole lot of MIDI stuff connected and multiple keyboards, this would be absolutely wicked for that. So it is $7.99, and you're going to have to bear with me because here's the deal. You know, with 4Pockets apps, Paul will release an app, and over the next few weeks, he'll make a whole bunch of significant updates. So by the time I finish this, there's already been a big update to it. So by the time I finish it, it's going to be out of date. And of course, I'm going to have to do another show on it. It just is what it is. Thanks, Paul. No, but it's good that Paul does all these updates because he really listens to feedback. He has a little roadmap that he runs by, releases these things, releases a video every time he puts out an update, so you know what's going on. He's got 2 videos up on this, and it's definitely, go and check out his videos as well, because he's probably going to explain it better than me, because I haven't had too much time with it, so I'm probably going to make mistakes. So don't kill me, Paul. It is what it is. Alrighty, shall we dig in after I have a sip from the cunt cup? And I have a double shot of coffee today because, man, I needed to wake up. Boom. So I'm going to be using this in AUM today. Now, clearly, this can be used in a DAW, like anything that can handle a MIDI controller, anything like that. So you can use this in clearly Cubasis, AUM, even Nano Studio, because we worked out a way to do it. There is a way to do it very cleverly, thanks to Audible Video. I really should do a proper video on that because Audible Video really kicked the goal for that one. Okie doke. So unfortunately, GarageBand is not going to work because, again, you can't use these MIDI controllers to control other instruments and stuff. But what you can do, is you can use this and then send it. You could send it all into GarageBand. You can do that. It's not ideal, but it is what it is, you know. So first, we're going to jump over here and create a MIDI channel. There it is. Then we're going to create a few audio channels. Let's just create 3 for now. And I'm going to click on the MIDI channel. We're going to look for MIDI layer. MIDI. I don't even think I need to put that in. I think it's just layer. There we are. Layers. And there is our MIDI layers. Now in here, let's do a search for a few different things. Let's maybe put, let's put Sunriser. Let's do a piano. So we'll do like a genuine sounds. And then we'll put in something like Synthmaster 2. Okay, so we've got 3 different keyboards there. Everything's good to go. We need to connect this up. And the usual way you connect things, so we got to send outs. Got to send outs from our layers MIDI controller into each of these. So we're going to send the first one here. We'll do out 1. We'll go to Sunriser. We'll go back. Out 2 can go to the piano. And out 3 can go to Synthmaster. So that's that done. But now we've got to add our keyboard. So we're going to have a keyboard here, down here. We need to add this to MIDI layers. So we need to check the import here and choose the Arturia Keystep 37. And that is all connected now. And still, I'm not getting any sound. What's going on? I'm not getting any sound. Why is that? Why, you ask? Well, that's because once you move over to layers, once layers becomes the controller, then it controls. As you can see, when I go full screen here, I'm hitting the keys now on my keyboard. Yes. And you can see it's representing. It's representing. It's in the house up here. So we're getting chords. Nothing is coming out. That's because we have no layers selected. All right, so this is where the beautiful part of MIDI layers come in. Now, we'll cover the bottom first. So here's where you add a layer. You can delete a layer. You can delete all your layers. You can move your layers up and down in the list. So here's your up and down. You can rename a layer. We'll cover learn end and learn start. You've got a MIDI through. So if you want to override your layers, you have a panic in case, you know, there's a murder on the dance floor. And you have an options button here. So first, to get any sound, we need to add a layer. So if I click add a layer, here's our first layer. Now, if I hit a key now, we have sound coming through for Sunriser because this is A1, yeah, and we sent it through to number 1 there to Sunriser. Good stuff. All righty. Now let's show you the screen here where you can control where it goes to. So once you have a layer here, you can see this block goes right across the entire keyboard, yeah? So from your C1 all the way through to your, C8 to the end, yeah? All the way across. You can grab the ends of these and shrink it and move it around so the keys are only being played in this particular section. So we can go, say, C3 to just before C4. So now when I hit anything outside of that, no sound, and then we can move this up. We'll take it to C4. So now you can see if I go back to my keyboard here, no sound. And once we get past there, again, there's no sound. So hopefully already you're starting to see what the coolness about this app is. Let's jump in and look at the options for this one layer here. So the options can be found down the bottom. If we click on this, here are our layer 1 options. You can rename this. Now it's called A1. Now remember down the bottom here, we've got these buttons. So I can rename this and we'll call it Sunriser. Boom. So now it's called Sunriser. So now we know that's connected there. And that's changed here in this little option tab, which we can move around wherever we want. So now these things are called controllers. They're quite interesting, these little controllers here. You can access them at any time, and there's a whole bunch of them that you can have on the screen and control parameters and stuff, but we'll get into that. So now the sound is coming through because you can see here, we'll just go close out of this. See here when I click on the little hamburger here, we've got 16 channels, 16 outs here. So we can send out 16 instruments. So we could have 16 instruments spread across one keyboard. Hey, what's going on, Stu? Good to see you. So that's pretty cool, huh? We've only got 3 here, but I could add 16 instruments. Fancy stuff. Now, these outs are covered here as output ports. So for it to work, it's on port 1. See that? So that's how we're getting our Sunriser. But if I change this port here to 2, it's now playing the piano because we hooked that up as the second port. If I change this to port 3 now, that keyboard is now running Synthmaster 2. So we'll leave it as output port 1. So that is how this is where you control the output. Now, not only that, not only do you get 16 ports, you've also got 16 channels, MIDI channels as well. So, boom. You can create some pretty magnificent keyboard setups. And the beauty of this is you're not just creating one keyboard setup. Imagine you're doing a live performance. Say the Indigo Sunsets with Stu Cash. They're going live and they've got their keyboard player there. And they're doing 10 songs for the show. You can actually go in and set up. Up the top here, we have these scenes. And so you could have like the first keyboard player's song set up on scene 1 with a whole bunch of settings for that keyboard. And then for the next song could click to scene 2, scene 3, scene 4. So you could organize your set with your keyboard split all into the sounds that you wanted. Very, very interesting, yeah? So within these sounds here, we'll just make sure this is on port 1. You have a velocity curve. Yeah, so if I turn the velocity curve up to 100, you're getting the full loudness of the velocity, yeah? But if I pull this down, so you can control the velocity, the parameters here. And another very interesting thing with this is you can road map this section. So we're only playing within this section of keys here. So if I turn the road map on, I can decide to say, all right, see down here we've got C1. Now we can go here and change this to a C1. So now, let's make sure we get our road map and C sharp 1. Make sure we've got this particular sound doesn't have it. Bring up our velocity. What am I doing? I have no idea what I'm doing now. There we go. So let's turn this up. You can change where the note starts. So I'm still hitting this key. Let's just bring this to like a C5. Come on, there we go. So basically, I'm still hitting this key here, but instead it's playing a C5. It's playing way up the keyboard. So you can really control these blocks. You can really control what octave this block is going to be. Say you only have a small keyboard like I do here, a small controller. I can really control it and put in, make this a, so I'm playing it on the C4, but I could make it a C3 or I could make it a lot higher. So really, really clever stuff. Or we can just turn off this road map and it'll just play the typical C4. So I hope you can see the power in that. Very clever. We'll come back to crossfades in a moment and program banks and mutes. Let's add another layer, shall we? So again, we head down the bottom and hit layer. And here's so it's added another layer in here, which is called B1. We know that our second one is going to be called a piano. So let's rename this. Let's jump over here and change this to piano. And now, when I hit outside, over here, we should get sound over here, right? Hang on. Why are we getting the sunriser sound? What's going on? Aha! You need to go into the options. I mentioned this at the start and change the output port to 2. So now, if you have a look, I'll show you here as well, we should have a piano. So we've already got our first split. Nice stuff. Now I might want to move this somewhere else and go, right, let's close this. I want to shrink this piano down. We'll just keep it as an octave. Let's just bring it in here. So there we go. We're going from a C3 now. Beautiful stuff. Nice. Yeah, I've done the right thing there. It's the same size. It looks smaller than that one for some reason. It's just my bad eyesight. That's what it is. So now let me now demonstrate, because we've got a piano sound here, what I was talking about earlier. Because we have this piano selected, we'll go into the options down here. And let's now change the remap. Let's remap this to a, let's see if I can do this right. We'll go to a C2, maybe. So we'll go to a C1. Right, so now we've remapped this little piano section here. I'll go back to a keyboard. So now when I hit here, which is a C3, it's actually playing a C1. So hopefully now you've made that crystal clear what you can do. Lovely jubbly. So we'll bring that back, take that mapping down. Very clever that you can map this stuff out. You know, fantastic stuff. We'll close that out. Let's add in another layer, shall we? So we'll hit add layer. And here's our next layer. And we'll bring this over here. And we'll leave this as 2 octaves. And we know that SynthMaster is connected to this. So we'll rename it. And we'll just call it SynthMaster SM2. Good stuff. And once again, we have to go down to the options here and connect this to output 3. Not 2, 3. There we go. So now, if we run along the keyboard, wicked. We now have 3 sounds all mapped to our pretty interesting stuff, especially if you've got a small keyboard like this. And I mean, you can go crazy too. You could very easily, now with these layers here, you can actually add 127 layers. Let me show you. Should I save this? We'll show you this. You can actually add, yes, seriously, 120 layers. You can go nuts. You can just add layer upon layer upon layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. And you really could put even though you've only got 16 ports, but you have 16 MIDI channels as well. But you could imagine doing a sound for each note on your keyboard. It's pretty crazy stuff. All right, let's talk about scenes, because now, you know, I mentioned quickly at the beginning we had our scenes. So this is scene 1 up here. Now, if I click scene 2, there's nothing there. Absolutely nothing there, because I haven't put anything in this scene. I can copy this scene over very easily just by holding down on scene 2, and this little thing pops up here. And if I click on this number 1, it will copy 1 into number 2. So now I have 2 of the exact same scene. So now in scene 2, I could go around and move these into a different order. So I'll put the piano there and put the sunriser over here. And now we've got an overlapping setup. Wicked, huh? So you can actually overlap sounds as well, which is really nice, really nice. And so then we've got our piano in there with our SynthMaster. All right. And now I can click between these 2 scenes at any time I want. And you can have up to 12 scenes. What's going on, Deep Gravity? Or should I say, Deep Gravity. There we go. That wasn't very deep, was it? It's quite shallow, that one. Like my ex-wife. I'll let that one simmer. Okay, where was I? So we've got these scenes here. So you can click between these scenes, and you can have 12 of these. 12 scenes. So you could use, for example, you could use a scene for songs. So you could have 12 songs in here, or just in, hey, what's going on? Thank you, Barry. Hey, Barry, you finally worked out how to become a Ward Warrior. That deserves a round of applause. Well done, Barry. Well done. I know the struggle has been real, but thank you very much, Barry, for becoming a Ward Warrior. So yeah, you could use these for songs, or you could use these for parts in a particular song. So very cool how you can bounce between these. Now, let's spread these out a little bit. So I'm going to take this piano here, and all you need to do to make these wider is just drag them. So we'll make it there, and we'll take this sunriser one, and we'll drag this over there. So now everything's kind of crossing over each other. We'll give the piano a little bit of guzz. Well, this is really fascinating because if I jump into the piano track here and go to options, what you can do here is you can crossfade. Thank you, David Collette, very much for the kind pair with coffee. Is that what it is? And Dancing Man. Thank you very much for the super sticker. So you can crossfade. So pay attention. I'll zoom in a bit. Look at that piano there. If I turn up this crossfade, it adds. See, it's adding those. It's kind of hard to see with that one. You can kind of see it. We'll do it on the this one. Can you see the little triangles adding? So it's adding crossfades to it. So you can crossfade into each other. Let's do it to the sunriser one. We'll turn up the crossfade. So now they all have crossfades. So now when I play the notes, cool, huh? I might just change the sound in Sunriser. What can we find? Something a bit more interesting than that, yeah? E. There we go. Pretty wicked, huh? How you can control the crossfade so they're all fading into each other. Nice stuff. So there you go. That now we have two programs, two scenes in here that have two totally different setups, crossfades, and we can bounce between these really easily. But wait, there's more, because you can control these program changes with MIDI CCs. Yes. So down here where we add a layer, if now, like all 4Pockets apps, notice the little chevron in the corner, a little triangle in each of these. Normally when there's one of those, that means if you hold down, there's extra stuff. So with the layer button, instead of me adding another layer, if I hold down, you get these options. And one is a regular layer, a scene control layer, or a mute control layer, or a CC control layer. Let's do a scene control layer. And you can decide if you'd like to add this control layer to all scenes or just this scene. So let's add it to all scenes. And there you go. It puts a layer in here with scenes 1 to 12. And you can move this wherever you want. So now at the switch of a button, let me show you, I can control the scenes. I can actually, so pay attention up here where our scenes are. 1 and 2. See that? I'm changing them with my keys here. So I can be playing. So you can control your scenes just with this little scene button here. And now if I jump across to all these scenes, you can see that little scene controller is across all of my scenes here. So that selection of keys, and it's between 1 to 12 because it's 12 scenes. But wait, there's more, because there are mute groups in, say that fast. There are mute groups in here. There are mute groups as well. So you can mute things. So you can create little mute groups. So if I don't want this, I want to just turn off both of these in scene 2. So we'll go over to scene 2. I want to turn off both of these so they don't affect. So you can double click on these at any time and you'll get a little, they'll grey out, and you'll see there's a little speaker here which says it's being muted. So if I double click on the piano, that's muted out as well. So they're now muted. Double click and they come back. But you have the power to add to mute groups as well. And that can be done down here where this little mute section is. So let's add Sunriser to a mute group, and we'll add it to mute group 2. And so that's now added there. And we'll add this piano to mute group 2. Now, how do I get to these mute groups? How do I turn this off? I'm glad you asked. So up in the settings here, this is where our open window section is. And here are the little windows that I previously mentioned, these little control windows that will become very useful for using this. And you can see here we've got mute groups currently closed. If I open that up, here's our mute groups. So now if I press on number 2, look at that. See how they muted? So you have access to mute anything you like in here. And you can set these up how you like. You can add multiple things to each group. You can rename these groups. So I can go in here and hold down because it's got a little chevron in the corner. And we can say piano and sun. So we know piano and sunriser, okay? So now that's called piano and sunriser, and when we click it, it will mute those groups out. Super simple. So you've got mute groups to play with this. He really does. Paul does think about everything. He sure does. So that's your mute groups. And how do you get to mute groups quickly? I want to just get to mute groups quickly. Well, there you go. Down here with these little chevrons, Paul has added the ability to bring up these little control things quite easily. So on the options, if you hold down, you get scene selections. And then if you hold down on panic, you get mute groups. So you can set these up how you want. And you can have access to these, right? So even with our scene settings here up the top, with our scenes, so here's our scene selection. You can also get to your scene selections over here in the settings with our open window. This is where these little controllers live. And you can see when you've got them open, it says open. So it lets you know that they are currently active. All right. So with our scenes here, we can name these as well, much like the mute groups. So if we hold down number 1, this is song 1. Okay. This can be hold down again. This can be song 2. Okay. And there we have our little controllers all set up so we can run mute groups. But wait, there's even more. If we go back to number 2 here, to track 2, we can add another layer by holding down, and we can add a mute group control layer. And if we do this across all scenes again, look at that. It adds 1 to 12 for mute groups. So now these keys are assigned also to mute groups. So if I go down a section and hit this, am I right? There we go, look at that. I'm muting out the mute groups using my controller. So not only do we have control over mute groups, we have control over scenes with our keys, and we still have sounds over here. So if you've got a bigger keyboard like my one over here, like, you know, my 49 key controller, you can start to see the power that is behind this. Very, very intuitive, clever stuff that is going on here. Of course it is, because it's 4 pockets. He's just brilliant, isn't he? All right, what do we got? We got, hello, Stephen Hewitt. It does look great, doesn't it? It's wicked. Good to see you too. So, and I've barely scratched the surface. This is really cool as well. So let's move back up our keyboard. You can also change the, let's jump up here and have a look up here for a little bit. You can change the modes, right? So you've got, we're currently setting chromatic, but if I go in here and change this to minor, now all of the white keys are in minor scales. You don't even need the black keys. Very cleverly, Paul has taken ideas, like he always does with his apps. Yeah, he takes little bits from like this one and little bits from his other app and adds it all in. So now you can't fuck up because your white keys can be set to full modes here. We got Dorian, and there's a whole bunch of them in here too. We got let's go Locrian, and again I'm just hitting white keys. You can change your key as well. Good stuff. We'll go back to chromatic. So there's that also that's just been added in for fun. For fun, good times. Now, let me do this. We'll kill this off here. We'll clear this out. Start a new scene. New session. Yes, yes, yes. Goodbye. There's also a bunch of presets in here. Look at this. So if we go to our scene layouts, there's a whole bunch of ones ready to go. Let's hit an 8-octave split. Boom. Look at that. So now we can go in here because this has already been made for us. So we can pick A. You can go into your options, choose output 1. Then we could go this one, which is output 2. This one, it's already done for you. Look at that. Everything's all done. So if I go down the keyboard, so very, 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 very cool to have these programs in here that are just ready to go. We'll try another one, shall we? What else is in here? Scene layouts. We've got a 2-layer split, which has control in it. So it's got a controller in it. We have things like, is there a test after the show? Maybe. You know what? There's a show straight after the show, Stu, in 15 minutes. As soon as this show ends, I'm going to start another show and I'm going to start working on my second Songtember song. So even here we have like control and 2 layers, split, all scenes. So now with this one, all the scenes have been lined up. So there's a bunch of presets in here, which is really nice. Lots of little preset ideas to get you going. A 2 split layer. So why is this good? Why is this another reason? So think about it. You can be playing bass notes in a totally different sound and be playing so you could have a total bass sound going over here and a piano sound over here. Really, really cool. I think this is a really fun app. What else do we have to cover? I know there's heaps more. Fuck me. Let's talk about it. All right, so this one's really fun too. Let's start we'll add another channel here. Another Synth Master 2, because this will blow your mind. This will blow your mind. It's really cool. And what I'll do is we'll make sure this is connected. We'll send this out. Number 4. Synth Master 2. All right. Let's clear this. New session. And we'll create 2 layers. 2 layers here. So I'm going to create a layer here and a layer here. And we'll connect this first one to output 3, because that's where my Synth Master is. There we go. And we'll connect this one to output 4, where the other Synth Master is. And we'll change the sounds in here just quickly. Let's go into our browse and maybe. There we go. So we've got 2 different sounds. I'll just shrink this. We'll bring this over here. There we go. So we've got 2. Cool. So we've got 2 different sounds. You can actually change in your create 2 different scenes here. So let's show you this. I'm going to copy this scene over to here. So I'm going to hold down on the scene, choose this unnamed scene. So now we've got both the same thing on these scenes, yeah? Now, notice the two sounds. Cool. I'm going to jump over to scene 2. And I'm going to open, we're going to click on A, the first keyboard split, this sound. We're going to go into our options. And we see this section here called Program Change. You can actually control the program within SynthMaster 2. Check this out. So if we go into SynthMaster 2, now you should be able to find, if you open up your browser, here's all your sounds. Now all of these sounds have a bank and a sub-bank connected to them. And to find out the numbers of these, you hit your little settings icon, and there's a little section here that says Manage MIDI Banks and Programs. And see here, if I zoom in, it shows you. Let's just change, see this is empty here, 0. I'm going to rename this. We'll just call this default. And we'll actually spell default right, and we'll update it. So now that's called default. And you can see all of the sounds, every single sound that is in SynthMaster 2 is in this little section. And see the numbers here? We have 0, 0, 0, 10. So this is bank 0, and these numbers here, 40, 41. These are the sounds all in order that are in SynthMaster 2. So now if I jump out of here, just close that out. In fact, we'll just shrink it a little bit, shall we? There we go. Shrink it a little bit. And now we'll jump over here. Go there. So here we are, bank 0 and program off. So now if I change this off and move this up and go, say, 79 and hit this little arrow, watch what happens. It changed the effect in here. It actually changed the effect. So now, how cool is that? Let's move it up to like 89. Hit this little arrow and watch up here. It will change. Boom. So now we have that sound in here. So now if I skip between the two scenes, I'll try that again. Why is that happening? Hang on. Have I got everything set right? What the fuck? Oh, man, I love live streaming. Make sure settings. See, here's the problem. Send program change needs to be on. There we go. I had something fucked up there. Now if I go to program 2, and we can change this over here to program 2. Let's change this to 61 on program 2. Oh, I know why it's happening. It's because I'm changing the same. Oh, no, that makes sense. I don't even know what I'm doing now. I've lost myself. So 0 bank, 50. And this one's off. That one's, all right, that's why. So if I turn this one on to there and hit send. All right, now we're right. So if I go now between these two programs, we have two different sounds. Let's move this up, change it to something else. There we go. So between this one section here, we're able to change different sounds between programs, all with the same setting here. It's very, very clever stuff. Very clever stuff. What else do we have? Let's what else do we have? We'll clear this out one more time. Create a new session. Yes, 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 yes. Let's just use a template. Whoops. Use a scene, and we'll do a Can we do a 3-layer split just for now? There we go. And we'll shrink these out. Because there's a whole bunch of other controllers in here too. Let's make this large. And I'll cover these quickly and then we'll get out of here. So, because I'm definitely going to have to do another show on this. There just isn't enough time. You also have in here, you can add layers. You can add controllers, and I can show you those. Whoops. You can add CC controllers. We'll get to that at another video. Just will have to be what it is. But we have these open windows here. Let's see. And we have pitch and mod wheels and a touchpad. So if I open the touchpad, how cool is this? We've got a little touchpad, another controller that we can leave open. And within this control pad, this is connected to our lead here, this lead one. We can go into the options and we need to turn it on. So there's a little arrow up the top here which gives us more options. We can turn on the touchpad. And now when I hold down a key, we've got a touchpad which can be MIDI assigned to anything. Hey, thank you, Stu, for becoming a Wart Warrior. Cheers to you. I'm a little Wart Warrior things like off the screen. What's going on? I mean, where's my emoji? You've got to send me an emoji, dork. It just doesn't appear. Where's my emoji? There's a Stu, go to the members section and read the community posts and it'll tell you how to make an emoji to send to me. Well, I think I've actually got one for you. I think I do actually have one already from you. Shut up, Stu. Jesus. Hey, can you piss off again? You. I'm joking. All right. So not only this, let's just end on this. You can add, not only can you add a touchpad here and do fancy stuff, you can go in here and open a window and you can add a mod wheel as well. And you can turn the mod wheel on. And you can assign the mod wheel to whatever CC you like as well. So you can really start to see this thing has a lot of depth. You can really, really do some amazing stuff. Now, I know Paul's only just released the update with the pitch mod and the touchpad. So we will revisit this app and come back and look at it a little bit more deeply. But I think there's enough already there for you to decide if this is something you'd like to use. To have all these split options and be able to do amazing stuff. And I didn't even cover the MIDI through. Oh man, there's so much. The last thing I will cover just quickly, this is invaluable. In our open window section, we have a MIDI debug. This, if you get confused about MIDI, this will help you. Every time you hit a key, it will tell you what is happening. What note's being played, the velocity of the note, what channel and what port it is coming out of. So if you've ported a whole bunch of MIDI and you don't know what's going on, this little MIDI debug will become your best friend. Absolutely. So when you hold down multiple keys, it's really, really good stuff. As I said, it's $7.99. It's fancy pants. It's it's another very clever invention by Paul that has just taken the idea of and in combination with things like when you jump into your settings here with all your parameters. It opens up such a wide door. Plus, you've got 16 MIDI channels available to send stuff fucking everywhere. It really is super clever stuff. But yeah, let's hold off on this now. What's going on, Pete? I forgot that you were doing YML an hour earlier this week. Ugh. So I'm going to have to get out of here now. And then within a couple of minutes, within 5 minutes, my next show will start because I've got to start work on my second Songtember song. So we'll spend about 55 minutes. So please, if you are still here right now and you'd like to join me, hang around because this show will end and it will dump you straight over to my next show, which will be happening in about 5 minutes' time. And I'm going to start trying to work on making an AI-generated song. Yeah, good times. All right, we'll see you in about 5 minutes' time. Or if you're watching on the replay, thanks for watching. And go and click the things, and you'll see the next show. This was 4 Pockets MIDI Layers. It's really cool. It's $7.99. And is it right for you? I don't know. Apps aren't Pokemon. You don't need them all. But this one might be something that'll change your life and make things a lot easier. So hope this helped. We'll definitely do a second show on it. Remember, do the things that make you happy. Mistakes make you better. And I'll see you in about 5 minutes' time. Boom. Boom.